today. For those of you who've been in here before, does the place look different? Well, welcome. My name is Jeff Mazer. I'm Executive Director of LaunchCode. And it's my great honor to welcome you here today as we celebrate the official launch and rededication of the LaunchCode headquarters at 4811 Delmar. This place, this building, is the open front door to technology careers in the St. Louis region. It's home to free, accessible, job-focused education. It's the birthplace of thousands of St. Louis tech careers. And as we reopen its doors today, its beauty finally matches that of the profound personal transformations that happen within these walls. Thank you for being a part of this celebration. And yeah, thanks. We've got many distinguished folks here celebrating with us today, and it's my honor and pleasure to introduce one who's going to say a few words. This project and its success would not have been possible without the support and help of the City of St. Louis, SLDC, Community Development Administration, and others. And so it's my great honor and pleasure to welcome to the podium and thank Mayor Tashara Jones as she shares a few words with us this morning. Mayor Jones.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone to celebrate the completion of LaunchCode's incredible renovation. How many remember when this used to be the Slate Unemployment Office? I do too. But can I share a quick secret with you? I'm a nerd, and I love technology. When I was a kid, my cousins and I got a Commodore 64 for Christmas. Do you remember those? I say my cousins and I because my aunts and my mother most likely put their money together to buy it for us so we could share it. We would buy computer magazines from the grocery store and stay up all night taking shifts to type in those programs. Remember those days? The programs were like 10, 20, 30, then 100, then end, right? And then the final command, which was run, yep. And if it didn't run, the debugging was just tedious. You had to go back through every line and figure out where you went wrong. And the programs were nothing much than simple screensavers, right? Just words and color and moving across a black and green screen. But I remember the satisfaction of getting it right. And now, one of my cousins developed this love into a whole career. He works for Cisco now. And me, I became a mayor who's a nerd who loves technology. So developing new talent and finding them work in this industry is so important, especially as St. Louis increasingly becomes a central hub for technology and innovation in the Midwest. Some have even dubbed us Silicon Prairie. The free and accessible education and job placement that LaunchCode provides has played an essential role in building that reputation for St. Louis. And Delmar Blvd, where we stand today, has historically been a racial, socioeconomic, and technical divide within the city. As mayor, it's been my aim to make sure everyone, regardless of which side of Delmar they live on, has equitable access to high-speed internet and technology required to thrive in this tech-driven economy. The city has already invested $3.3 million in Federal American Rescue Plan Act funds towards expanding Wi-Fi access, improving digital literacy, expanding job training opportunities in software development, data management, and analytics. And with this investment in community development block grant funding, and new market tax credits to support the renovation, the City of St. Louis is proud to work alongside LaunchCode to continue breaking down barriers in technology. So I want to thank Jim McKelvey and Jeff Mazer and everyone at LaunchCode for your commitment to St. Louis. Take care and God bless.
Thank you so much, Mayor Jones. So just about 5 years ago, September 7th, 2017, there was a LaunchCode board meeting. It was in a room right over there. And we've been a tenant in this building for about 2 years. And through the generosity of the state of Missouri, we lived in this building rent-free. In that board meeting, though, we shared the sad news that the state planned to sell the building. Our free ride was about to come to an end. We half joked, maybe we should buy the place. It seemed far-fetched. Sale price was about $600,000. On that day, in our Commerce bank account, LaunchCode had $380,656. We started looking for commercial space to lease. But things dragged on. Buyer was slow to be found. LaunchCode started generating unprecedented revenue in 2018. And then, with a little luck and a lot of help from our friends at IFF, I know Stephen is here. Stephen, where are you? Put your hand up. Stephen, thank you. Stephen's help and the help of our friends at IFF, we purchased this property on March 29th, 2019. We literally laughed at the idea about 18 months prior that this place had become ours. Now, we bought it, and it didn't take long for us to start to think about how we could really make it our own. So we met with capital campaign experts, talked about raising money for an overhaul. In April 2019, they ran the numbers. They told us we could probably be successful with a capital campaign of about $1.5 million, maybe $2 million if we really killed it. Late in 2020, we closed that capital campaign. Because of the people in this room, in these chairs, because of your deep love and generosity and belief in LaunchCode and its mission, that campaign raised $5 million. And here we sit today. I share this because it's a quintessentially LaunchCode story. Probably 95% of LaunchCoders laugh at first about the idea that they could learn to code or become a developer. Then they apply and they get into the class. They think they'll never make it through the third JavaScript assignment until, in the middle of the night, they figure it out. People tell them the odds are long that they'll get a good job in the industry. They maybe start to doubt that they did the right thing after all. They wonder if it was all for nothing. Success seems far-fetched. Then Boeing hires them as a software engineer. Then they become a product manager at Centene. The journey of this building and the journey of the LaunchCoder are different in most ways, but they share a very important trait. They happen only because of a generous, committed group of people who are invested in success. I'm proud to be in the presence today of so many people here who represent that group. Thank you. Please give yourselves a hand. Now, as you look around you today and then visit the space that you helped create, I want you to notice some important changes that grew out of this project. This space that we're in now accommodates 200 learners. It used to accommodate about 150. Because of this renovation and this project, our student capacity has increased by 33%, meaning we'll serve 200 additional in-person learners every year in a typical year additional. You'll see configurable classrooms so that up to 13 different breakout groups can learn specialized skill tracks in their smaller TA-led learning teams. Behind the glass above you is a staff office that can accommodate up to 52 LaunchCode colleagues and gives our growing team a place that's just for them. You'll also notice small things. Twice as many bathrooms. It's important. Coffee bar, updated kitchen and lunchroom. Small things, but important spaces for our learners and the community that we build here. In its new form, this building is a reflection of our belief that even if you are learning career skills for free, you should be able to learn in a functional, beautiful, state-of-the-art space. What matters outside too, and the mayor said it, beautifying and buying this building means planting a permanent flag on Delmar Blvd. It means bridging geographic divisions and access gaps. The building is a renewed representation of progress and opportunity. It's a reminder that in a neighborhood on the brink of historic investment, there's a place that continues inviting everyone in. Of course, this place is much more than classrooms or a spot for our staff to work. LaunchCode is an essential part of St. Louis's economy and workforce. Many people who today are key technology leaders in the St. Louis community got their start in this very building. It's my privilege today to introduce one of them. Please join me in welcoming LaunchCode alum Alicia Dawson.
Always gotta do that. Okay, so as Jeff said, my name is Alicia Dawson. I was in the Code Camp program about 5 years ago, back when the building did not look like this. And I'd just like to tell you a little bit about my journey with LaunchCode. So, when I was 18 years old, I knew everything, right? Like most teenagers. I knew it all, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was gonna be the world's best high school math teacher, right? Teaching was my passion. I wanted to get kids interested, and I wanted to help them achieve their goals. I really do think that we live in one of the greatest countries in the world, where an education can lead you to your wildest dreams. So I was gonna change the world, one life at a time. So when I got to college, though, my professors encouraged me to go to grad school. And I thought, I could be a professor, I'm still gonna teach, I could still change the world. However, from day one of grad school, I hated it. Grad school was horrible, and it was not for me. So I guess that was 4 years prior, when I thought I knew everything. Now I knew nothing. For the first time in my life, I was completely lost. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I wanted to quit. So after 3 years, I quit grad school. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to change the world if I threw my own dreams away. But quitting, I realized, was a way to change one life, my own. I wanted to be happy, and that's what I had to do to be happy at that point in time. However, as a graduate with a pure math degree, nobody would actually hire me. It's basically like being really good at problem solving. So you get into an interview and they're like, what can you do? And I'm like, I can problem solve. And they're like, okay, what else? So I could barely even get interviews, and as time was running out, one of my friends, Maisha Pope, actually told me about this program called LaunchCode. She said it was free. I said, what's the catch? And it turns out the catch is it's really hard work. And that's it. It's still free. So the next thing I knew, I was interviewed, accepted, and I started the class with about 20-something other people. I don't know what we all expected on that first day of class. I think we were all, feeling some imposter syndrome a lot. And throughout those 14 weeks, there was tears, Taco Bell, and laughing, and just spending 40 hours a week in this building, actually. So 14 weeks later, though, we graduated, and it's been 5 years, August 22nd. It was a couple days after the eclipse. So after that class, I was lucky enough to get hired as a software developer by NGA here in St. Louis. Thank you. But if you work for NGA, you have to get a security clearance, which takes some time. So after LaunchCode, I was just unemployed. But luckily, remember how I said I wanted to be a teacher? I got to teach for LaunchCode while I was waiting for my clearance, and I taught the web development class in Python. It was great. And when I finally got my clearance, NGA actually had a partnership with LaunchCode, so when I started my job, I came here for 13 weeks, which was amazing, and I got to learn from Blvd. So that's been my journey so far with LaunchCode. And to end this story, I just wanted to talk about how much I've learned in the last 5 years. I've learned so much about tech, but I've learned even more about letting go and taking risks. I've been lucky though, privileged. Taking risks was always easy for me, but that's not always the case. Sometimes people need to make hard decisions. They need to choose between paying for a code camp or a boot camp and starving or putting food on the table, right? I think the decision is pretty clear for most people what they're going to choose. So sometimes the land of opportunity, it's pretty dark. But LaunchCode, they've provided a light. They've given those with no other choice the opportunity to take those risks with these completely free classes. Right? There's no catch besides hard work. They pushed me forward, and they changed my life. And then to make it even a little sweeter, they provided me with a way to give back and a way to change lives with them. Today I have several hundred LaunchCode students. I have students who have gone on to be TAs. They have students. We like to joke that I have grand students, which means my LaunchCode teachers have great-grand students. All right, so I've even been able to participate in the new program that they have, Just Tech, where they're teaching incarcerated individuals how to code, and that's been my favorite opportunity to volunteer yet. So, you see, LaunchCode has this ripple effect. They helped me get a tech job, sure, but what they really did was help me help myself and help others. I've TA'd, I've taught, I've spoke on panels, I volunteered with the Just Tech program, and I even now have a job that lets me volunteer even more on a Thursday morning, perhaps. Right? Shout out to GitLab. So LaunchCode, they helped me achieve the dreams that I did have when I was 18. I didn't actually throw that part of myself away like I thought I did. I just found another outlet through LaunchCode. LaunchCode is changing the world, one life at a time.
One more time for Alicia. Alicia's story and LaunchCode itself couldn't exist without generous donors and funders. And this building project is a really shining example. We have so many people to thank for making this project a reality. These are people who dreamed our dream with us. They had a vision that we shared for how we could serve this community better, for how we could ensure hundreds more people every year feel the warmth of a guiding hand toward a better future. This morning we celebrate these kind givers and share with them our deepest gratitude. Thank you to the City of St. Louis, the J.E. and L.E. Mabee Foundation Incorporated, Burgess Family Foundation, the Manning Family Charitable Fund, John and Ann McDonald, the Faring Family Foundation, Andrew and Barbara Taylor, the Steinberg family, the William T. Kemper Foundation, Nancy and Michael Georgian, Sarah Mayer, the Michelle Williams family, Everett and Amy Johnson, Karen Kalish, Estelle W. and Karen S. Kalish Fund, Julianne Nix, Eliza and Melody Mazer, Saria Jackson, Andrew and Terry Deering, Michael and Martha Gallagher Charitable Fund, Robin Carnahan, Timothy and Barbara McFadden, the Schoolman Lieber families, Jennifer and Dan Gillian, the Beatty Family Fund, the Cartman Schlicker Family Fund, Tracy McCreary and Tom Lamb, Ernest and Donna Smiley, Holly Benson, Chris and Ann Summers, Mark Lewis, Enterprise Bank and Trust, and of course, our anchor funder, Jim McKelvey and the McKelvey Family Charitable Fund. Let's please recognize all our building funders. Thank you all so much. This is a transformative project for the organization, and it would not have happened without your vision and generosity. I'd also like to thank and recognize our building project team. We've got friends here today from Gemma Architects, Color Art Construction, Rise Community Development, Arch Design, and Tech Electronics. Let's hear it for them as well. Finally, I need to share endless personal thanks to my colleagues Lori Rasmussen and David Garage, whose work was indispensable to the success of this project. Lori and David, thank you. And finally, to Leah Freeman for creating this day. Let's hear it for Leah. Next, it's my true honor to invite to the podium the man who started it all, Jim McKelvey.
Thank you, Jeff. We didn't know this was going to work. So I was invited to a meeting with Dan Lohman and Chris Summers. Is Chris here? And Chris Allen? Yeah, so I got invited to this meeting. And they wanted to open a Ruby class. So Ruby's a programming language, and they thought, well, we need more Ruby programmers in St. Louis. We should open this little camp for Ruby programmers. And somewhere as we were discussing how to do this, we realized that the problem is not education. The problem is education that gets you a job. And that's the problem that nobody else had solved before, because there have been code camps and small sort of, efforts to train skilled programmers for years. But none of these have solved the nationwide, well, really the worldwide shortage of programmers. The problem is, if you don't have a degree from an accredited institution that people recognize in the companies that are hiring, you don't get the door open. So the real question that we couldn't answer when we started LaunchCode was whether or not it was possible to crack that door open, whether or not we could do it. So it started out as an experiment, and it started out actually without the educational component, because we had no way to educate. We just, we thought, well, we actually know some people in St. Louis who are pretty good programmers. We could probably find some more, and if we found them and tested them and just made sure they met sort of a basic standard, maybe the companies around would give it a try, take a risk with us. The great thing I have to report is that 100 employers, the major employers in St. Louis, all agreed to give this experiment a try. And so we entered into this really welcoming environment, and we interviewed about 400 people, found 40 of them that were ready to go, and those 40 we placed into jobs, and they all got jobs. They got hired full-time. There was no obligation of the companies to, to follow through on this, but the companies wanted more. So then the question is, how do you get more? And the answer is, well, at this point, we had to experiment with education. And we had been trying to figure out how to efficiently and freely educate as many people as possible. And so that is the journey that we've been on. And it's been kind of a bumpy ride, because we're figuring it out as we go. One of the things that we've always had as a sort of a dilemma is that, computing is sort of a solitary act. Like if you're coding, your head's down, you may be paired with one or two other people, but you're basically facing a screen and you're not talking to everybody else. Except for my kid, who plays Minecraft on the side when he's talking. But you're not supposed to, it's a solitary act. So then the question is, why do we need a space for us to get together? And I think if the pandemic has taught us anything, is that Zoom doesn't do it. Like, yeah, you can get the meeting done in a little talking postage stamp, but it's really the human connection. It's sitting next to somebody. It's hanging out. It's just being around other people that inspires us, that motivates us, that sometimes saves us. Because like one of the things that is frustrating, Mayor Jones, sort of touched on this, and I'll echo the sentiment. Like, programming is frustrating. You want to be with your cousins, you want to be with your friends, or you want to even be with friendly strangers who say, hey, look, I know how to do that. Or, yeah, I had trouble with that too. And I'm still having trouble, let's figure it out together. And so the place to do that is important. And I think place is very important. And Delmar is such an important line in the sand in St. Louis. And for us to be able to open such a beautiful space it's just really heartwarming. So I'm excited to come here. I'm excited to work here. And I hope that this will be a new launch for LaunchCode as we invite people from the neighborhoods, people who live here, to come in, meet each other, work together, learn new things, and get jobs. And with that, I would like to say that Jeff is leaving us now. He's decided that he's going to go on and do something else. But when we handed reins of control to Jeff Mazer, it was an idea. Now it's an organization. And I think we all should clap for Jeff and what he's done. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jim, for all of that. So we're going to announce a new initiative, but first I'm going to invite some special people who are going to do our rocket launch. I don't know if you saw this on the agenda. We're going to broadcast from the outside to celebrate the opening of this space, this rocket launch on the screen here soon. I'm going to invite those people. We've got some very special folks who are going to launch those rockets. Lori is going to help lead you out there and start getting set up for that. So I'm going to invite you all to do that and prepare while I share this exciting announcement. Jim talked a little bit about LaunchCode's past and a vision for the future and what we hope to do here. And in that vein, I want to talk about an exciting new initiative. And this is the thing that we're talking about for the first time here today in public. And I'm proud to announce that the first cohort of learners that's actually going to learn in this space and occupy this building will be our brand new Access Plus course. Now, this is a program that will focus on opening doors to digital careers for Black, Indigenous, Hispanic, and Latino aspiring technologists. And for the first time, we'll include a weekly stipend for our learners. This pilot program will open the door wider than ever before to those who have been left on the sidelines for too long. And it will contribute meaningfully to our regional push toward equitable economic growth. We're able to do this because of some really amazing support from a great partner. And we've got someone here to thank today for that partnership. So I want to thank Pluralsight and Pluralsight One. And Allison, put your hand up. Can we thank Allison and Pluralsight One? Their incredibly generous commitment of $400,000 in funds will help us run this pilot and make it an incredibly successful program. Thank you so much. One more time for Pluralsight. Now, I know program's been going for a minute, and y'all are probably itching to get up and walk around the space a little bit more and see it. So we're going to get this rolling. We're going to turn our attention now to our brand new projector screen. Not quite 6 years ago, September 9th, 2016, Vice President Joe Biden traveled to St. Louis so he could visit with us right here in this space. In his own words, he came for a simple reason, to amplify what you are doing here. We're going to amplify what these folks are doing. Now, you see this. I assure you, first of all, that our liability insurance is paid up. We're good to go. And actually, there's no propellant in these rockets. It's like citric acid and baking soda and water, which you see them mixing up here. Entirely safe and hopefully exciting. We've got our great friends. We've got Nancy Georgian and Terry Manning and Dolores and Jeff Genzel. We've got Jim out there. Who else? I can't see now. I've got a tough angle. Mr. Greg Bloor. They're getting instructions. Lori has done this. She did a tutorial video herself at her home so she could show off how it was going to work. We got the great folks from Switch. Thank you, Switch, who are broadcasting this. They're going to live stream it. I'm told they're going to pan to follow the rocket up into the air, or the rockets, as they do this, while people duck below. Other building fun facts. Almost exactly 4 years ago, September 4th, 2018, Governor Mike Parson visited LaunchCode. From this spot where I'm standing, he announced his call for a special legislative session to pass a STEM education bill. It was very exciting to have the governor here. We've got the live feed. We get to hear the reactions. Here we go. We actually had asked. Oh, there we go now. Oh, there's another one. Are they all going to work? Here we go. 60% there. Is this going to be? Is this the Artemis Part 2 cancellation? No, it's going. All right. It worked. Thank you so much to our rocket launchers. One more time for the rocket launchers. They help make this project happen. I want to thank again, as we start to wrap up the program here, I thank our rocket launchers, thank all of you for helping make this project happen, helping us mark this really special day in the history of the organization together. I want to thank you, I want to thank Jim, I want to thank all the building funders, and everyone who played a role in helping us further our mission through this now beautiful space. As we end the program, I want to encourage you all to stick around, grab a cup of coffee, grab a Danish, embark on a self-guided tour of the buildings. You've got some markers on the floor that'll lead you around. And you will find throughout the space LaunchCode storytellers. They've got buttons on. These are people who are eager and excited to tell you about their experience in this very space. Thank you for being with us today. Thanks for doing this. Enjoy.